Hello everyone. Yes, today I want to talk about 2 Esdras 13. I want to talk about the Battle of Gog of Magog and where it will happen, who is the camp of the saints. Now, while I'm looking at 2 Esdras 13, it seems like this vision that Yahuwah gave Ezra is in line with what I am teaching on my channel. The views I have on this subject, it seems to be accurate because it's in line with the vision that Ezra received. That's why I found it so informative and interesting to look at this today. And just out of the blue, I received this chapter from another video that mentioned this, 2 Esdras 13. And I know about 2 Esdras 13 because of it telling us where Israel moved to after their captivity by Salmanassar to Damascus for 390 years. But here in this vision, it explains a bit more of who the camp of the saints is. And it is not the prevailing idea these days that it is the North Pole, nor that it is referring to the glorified saints that reigned with Yahushua for 1,000 years. That's not the camp of the saints referred to in Scripture, and that's not the camp of the saints who Gog of Magog will want to make war with. The camp of the saints, according to the Bible, is somebody or a group of people different from the saints who reigned with Yahushua for 1,000 years. So let's quickly go through this vision. I'm just going to go through the second part of this chapter because it's a very long chapter. The vision itself, you can have a look at verse 1 to 20. From verse 21, it's Yahweh giving the interpretation of the vision. So I'm just going to go there. I'm just going to start there. He answered me and said, I will tell you the interpretation of the vision, and I will also explain to you the things which you have mentioned. As for what you said about those who are left, this is the interpretation. He who brings the peril at that time will himself protect those who fall into peril, who have works and have faith in the Almighty. This works and faith, of course, refers to those who obey the commandments of Yahweh through faith in Yahushua. It refers to the saints. See Revelation 14 verse 12 and Revelation 12 verse 17. Saints are those who keep the commandments of Yahweh through faith in Messiah. Understand therefore that those who are left are more blessed than those who have died. I just want to mention here that these people in peril, the saints, those who obey the commands, it says here that Yahuwah will help them, that Yahuwah will protect them. This, of course, refers to the Battle of Gog of Magog, but you'll see more of this later on in the vision, in the explanation. This is the interpretation of the vision. As for you seeing a man come up from the heart of the sea, this is he whom the Most High has been keeping for many ages, who will himself deliver his creation, and he will direct those who are left. This refers, of course, to Yahushua Messiah. He will direct those who are left. He will direct them to a certain place to gather with the second Exodus, of course, just as I teach on my videos. And as for your seeing wind and fire and the storm coming out of his mouth, and as for him not holding a spear or weapon of war, yet destroying the onrushing multitude which came to conquer him, this is the interpretation. Behold, the days are coming when the Most High will deliver those who are on the earth, and bewilderment of mind shall come over those who dwell on the earth. And they shall plan to make war against one another, city against city, place against place, people against people, kingdom against kingdom. Of course, this refers to the Third World War. There's going to be wars all over the earth. Different groups of people attacking other groups of people worldwide. And when these things come to pass, and the signs occur which I showed you before, then my son will be revealed, whom you saw as a man coming up from the sea. And when all the nations hear his voice, Every man shall leave his own land and the warfare that they have against one another, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together as you saw, desiring to come and conquer him. Of course, this refers also to Ezekiel 38, people. Go read Ezekiel 38. This is in line with Ezekiel 38. People coming to fight against Yahuwah and his elect. But he will stand on the top of Mount Zion, and Zion will come and be made manifest to all people, prepared and built, as you saw the mountain carved out without hands. And he, my son, will reprove the assembled nations for their ungodliness. This Mount Zion, or this Zion, I believe, is not referring specifically to an earthly mountain. It sounds like this could refer to a floating piece of land or city that this refers to. And that it will come over the area where the saints, the elect, will be gathered. It will go to that place and will be there. The elect and that the mountain Zion will be in the same place or the same area. And okay, and he, my son, will reprove the assembled nations for their ungodliness. This was symbolized by the storm, and will reproach them to their face with the evil thoughts and the torments with which they are to be tortured, which were symbolized by the flames, and will destroy them without effort by the law, which was symbolized by the fire. And as for you seeing him gather to himself another multitude that was peaceable. This refers to the second Exodus that I'm talking about in my videos. I'm talking about the second Exodus. And as for you seeing him gather to himself another multitude that was peaceable. These are the 10 tribes. You see, this is also what I go through in my videos. I'm telling the people that Yahushua is going to regather with the second Exodus the elect of the 10 tribes, and it will be in the end the 12 tribes of Israel. Not just the 10, but all of them. All tribes of Israel will be gathered together again with the second Exodus. As I go through in my videos, when I go through the prophets. These are the 10 tribes which were led away from their own land into captivity in the days of King Hoshea from Shalmaneser, the king of the Assyrians, led captive. He took them across the river, and they were taken into another land. In prophecy, it says they will be taken a very far place, even further than Damascus. Of course, I believe these places are in Africa, not in the Middle East. It's not there in Western Asia. I believe Damascus is on the border of Nigeria and Niger. You can still see it there today if you go on Google Maps. And even past that, so North Africa, he took them to the North Africa. From the territory where they were, which were around the middle to lower part of Africa. But don't take my word for it. You can look into this yourself if you want. Let's just continue here. So it just explains here who took them captive for 390 years. They were taken into another land. But they formed a plan for themselves that they would leave the multitude of the nations and go to a more distant region where mankind had never been lived or been, that there at least they might keep their statutes, which they had not kept in their own land. He's talking about Yahweh's commands. And they went in by the narrow passage of the Euphrates River, for at that time the Most High performed signs for them, and stopped the channels of the river until they had passed over. Through that region there was a long way to go, a journey of 1.5 years, and that country is called Esdras. Now I look at the Esdras in another video, you can look it up, and it is in Northeast Asia. It is where Russia is today, and I looked on Google Maps and the distances, and it will take about 1.5 years to get there from where they were being kept captive It is about a year and a half travel to Azareth. Now also some of them didn't go to Azareth. I believe some of them went to the Caucasus Mountains by the Black Sea, and they spread throughout Europe and Asia, of course. They were also known, I believe, as the Tartarians, which means, Tatar means the remnant. And so this is what he talks about, where they left, or where they went to. Through the Euphrates. Now, of course, you can think the Euphrates would be there by the fake Jerusalem today. It was opened up for them to go into Northeast Asia. So they were on the western side of the Euphrates, because they had to go through it to get to where they were going. Then they dwelt there until the last times. And now when they are about to come again, it talks about the second Exodus. The Most High will stop the channels of the river again. You see the Euphrates drying up. You see the Euphrates, what they call Euphrates today. It is drying up. And it says here this will happen, that they may pass over again. You see with the second Exodus. Therefore you saw the multitude gather together in peace. So if they pass over from the eastern side, yes, it's in the direction of Africa again. And that's where they will end up according to biblical prophecy. I go through that in my other videos, where they will be gathered. But those who are left of your people, this is Israelites, who are found within my holy borders. This is the original territory given to Israel in the bottom part of Africa, shall be saved. Therefore, when he destroys the multitude of the nations that are gathered together, this of course refers to Revelation 20 with the battle of Gog of Magog, he will defend the people who remain. And then he will show them very many wonders. Just want to show you here how it is in line also with Ezekiel 48. It says here, verse 13, Shabbat, Dedan, and the merchants of Tarshish will all, with all its villages, will ask, have you come to capture and plunder? Have you assembled your hordes to carry away loot, to make off with silver and gold, to take cattle and goods, to seize great spoil? Of course, in my videos, I show you exactly where Shaba, Dedan, and Tarshish used to be. It is in the bottom part of Africa. And we see here that the remnant, the saints, the elect that will be gathered with the second Exodus, is not talking about those who ruled with Yahushua for 1,000 years. Because this is a physical territory where these remnant are living in, and this Russia and their allies are coming to surround the bottom part of Africa to take their gold and silver and other precious stuff. That cannot happen with a floating city in the North Pole that they supposedly are going to surround to attack. These are people that they wanted to attack, whom they think they can conquer. If you go read the whole chapter of Ezekiel 48, you will see there that they dream that it's possible for them to go and conquer this remnant that were gathered with the second Exodus. It is physical people. It's not glorified people. It's physical people that's left their countries worldwide to one location during the Third World War. And then Putin and his other nations that he conquered, they will come and surround eventually in the end this bottom part of Africa to take the spoils, to take the gold and silver, to take all their stuff. They will actually think they can go and conquer the people, and they probably will be able to, because they'll probably be the strongest superpower in the world then. But then Yahuwah himself will step in, as we see in his 2 Esdras 13. He himself will step in and save that remnant when they are gathered in his territory. Those that are gathered in his territory. It's mentioned here also in this Ezekiel 48. Let's read it. Therefore prophesy, Son of Man, and tell Gog that this is what Yahuwah, says, on that day when my people Israel are dwelling securely, will you not take notice of this? And you will come from your place out of the far north, you and many peoples with you, far north, northern Asia, all riding horses and mighty horde, a huge army. You will advance against my people Israel. Didn't we read this into Esdras? That the people, peaceable people that he will gather, it is Israel. Here it says, it will be Israel being gathered with the second Exodus, that Gog of Magog will want to attack. Like a cloud covering the land, it will happen in the latter days, O Gog, that I will bring you against my land, so that the nations may know when I show myself holy in you before their eyes. Let's see here, is there something else? This is what Yahuwah says, are you the one of whom I have spoken in former days through my servants, the prophets of Israel, who in those times prophesied for years that I would bring you against them? Now on that day when God comes against the land of Israel, declares Yahuwah, my wrath will flare up, like we see in Esdras 13, where they will be gathered in his territory, in his designated territory. Here again it says, they will be gathered in the original territories of Israel, which is not Palestine, people. It's in a part of Africa. Go see my videos on where is Shaba, Dedan, and Tarsus. It is in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, these places. Now these places are in the original territory of where Israel used to be. And when you look into this, it seems to be around from Kenya, Uganda, downwards. I don't know how far downwards. I think it's up to Zimbabwe and North Namibia. But anyways, Yahuwah will again show us in the future exactly where the borders were. Maybe it's not that important now because the information is very scarce on this matter. But that's where they will be gathered. And that is where Yahuwah is going to step in when Putin and his other nations that's with him will want to surround that group of people, the Israel remnant that will be gathered with the second Exodus. Exactly the things that I'm teaching on my videos, people. These things, I'm looking into it in more detail, in depth. And I found it very interesting that 2 Esdras 13 agrees with what I'm teaching, with what I'm going through in my videos. Because in the end, it is best to have the biblical backing with your views. It doesn't have you speculate on things. Oh yes, it's in the North Pole. Oh, the camp of the saints. Oh, it must be the people who reigned with Messiah for 1,000 years. It must be them. It's not them. It's not in the North Pole. The Bible tells you exactly where the things are going to play out, where it's going to happen. You don't have to wonder or speculate. Go read the Bible, you'll see it's right there. It's right there. So you don't have to wonder about these things. The truth is in the Bible and extra biblical books. And so, yes, clearly this is not the North Pole. This is the camp of the saints. It's not the glorified saints that reigned with Yahushua. It is actually people who leave their countries during the Third World War because of the war, and Yahuwah will tell them to gather in one place. We see that in 2 Esdras 13. It mentions here somewhere that Yahuwah will gather them. He will place it in their hearts to gather in a specific place. And so this is physical people, not glorified people, that will gather in one place. And it is a group of people that Gog of Magog will think he can go and conquer. And he can go and take the gold and silver and stuff. Would it be possible for Gog of Magog to go and battle a floating city at the North Pole to get their gold and silver and precious metals and stuff? That doesn't even make sense. But it makes sense when you think of the continents where there's gold and silver under the ground, and they want all that money and all that precious metals. And that's the reason they go to attack the camp of the saints. This is what the Bible tells us. So, take it or leave it. I just wanted to show you in 2 Esdras 13, it agrees with my views on this matter. And I'm glad I found it. Enjoy your day. Bye.